If you want the honest truth about how much it costs to own horses, you are in the right place because, oh my gosh, October was very, very expensive for me. So yes, October was very, very expensive for me when it comes to my horses, but to be fair, a lot of it was for like getting ready for winter kind of stuff, and it's not ongoing costs that I'm going to be incurring. But with that being said, let's get into how much I spent on my horses in the month of October. And for those of you who do not know, I have two horses. I have two quarter horse geldings. One is a 5-year-old who I ride and compete on regularly. The other one is a senior retired gelding that is basically a pasture ornament at this point. So we started off October with my birthday, and although I didn't buy this item, my husband did. He bought me a birthday present, and you know, what's mine is his, what's his is mine, so we will include it in the total for this month. He bought me a drill brush set, and I know that sounds like a very odd birthday present, but I specifically requested that so that I could clean my saddle pads. So he bought me a drill brush set off of Amazon, and I'm pretty sure it cost $15. I did not look up the receipt because it was a birthday present, and I'm not gonna look to see how much it was. So that was what we kicked off the month with, was a drill brush set. And I do definitely recommend it. If you wanna look back at the whole cleaning my saddle pad situation, be sure to check out the video that I'll link here. It was not a good time. We'll just leave it at that. The next thing that I purchased was some feed that I give Diesel. He gets Hoffman's Elite Performance Ration. I was running low, so I did go and buy one bag that was $39.36. As I tell you guys constantly, the majority of your horse's diet should come from forage, i.e. grass or hay, but I do also supplement my horse's diet, especially Diesel, because he does get rode so often and I want him running on all cylinders. He does get a performance ration as well, but again, it is just a supplement. And then on October 11th, I had to call the vet, because if you've been following along, Diesel broke out in what we've determined was some sort of bacterial infection from my saddle pad, and so I had to have the vet out. My vet, I would say as a general rule, does not charge a lot, and so for this farm visit, he only charged me $154.84, and that included his time, his travel, as well as the various bacterial antibiotic ointments that he gave me to put on Diesel's sores to help him recover. And for those of you who are wondering, Diesel has completely recovered. All the sores are gone. There's a few spots where the hair just needs to grow back, but he is fine and dandy now, so all is good. As a result of that whole saddle pad causing a bacteria outbreak situation, I did throw out my 5-star pad. I did try to clean it, but I was just freaked out that I would not be able to get the bacteria out, so I decided to just throw out that pad. My intent was to buy a new one, and so a couple days after the vet was here, I did go online. I purchased a brand new 5-star saddle pad and also a saddle pad liner. I put the order in, and then I think it was the next day or like the following Monday or something like that, the tack store emailed me and said that they didn't have the 5-star pad in stock that I wanted, so they refunded me that money and just sent me the saddle pad liner. The saddle pad liner was $47.20. So my intent at the moment is, I do have another saddle pad that I'm using to ride Diesel, and I'm gonna put that liner underneath that saddle pad because a liner is, you know, it's less expensive. So instead of throwing out a very expensive saddle pad, I can just throw out the liner if need be, and I can also clean it easier as well. On October 17th, my farrier came out and he trimmed both Diesel and Junior. They are just barefoot right now, and they will be for the entirety of winter. I do plan on putting shoes on Diesel come the springtime, but for right now, they are just barefoot, super easy trim. That cost $120 for the two of them. I believe my farrier charges 50 bucks a horse, but because he doesn't charge mileage and because I want him to keep coming out here, I do pay him instead of 100, I do give him 120. So that cost comes up this time of year now. It's probably going to be between every 8 to 10 weeks he'll be coming out here through the winter. And then things got expensive. So obviously I live in Alberta. Winter is basically here. It's technically still fall according to the equinoxes or whatever. Winter is coming. There's no more grass. We need to feed hay is what I'm getting at. So I do get round bales. I get a full shipment in. I bought 10 bales, 10 round bales this year. I do have a few left over from last year, which I'll feed first, and then we'll get into the new bales. But I got 10 round bales. Between the bales and the travel that I paid, it was $1,600, $1,600. But again, that's gonna last me the entire winter, and I will very likely have hay left over for next fall to feed. I kind of like to err on the side of buying a bit too much, just, you know, if grass doesn't grow or whatever, I have hay on hand. So it's an investment, more like a prepaid expense that I'm gonna eat into over the course of the winter. In October, towards the end of the month, I also did go to the feed store. I needed to buy mineral, I needed to buy more of Diesel's ration and Junior's ration as well. Junior gets a bit of a senior feed. So I got 2 bags of those, 2 bags of Diesel's, and 1 bag of the mineral, and that cost me $184.33. I honestly don't know how long a bag of any of that lasts. I just kind of, like, the feed store is on my way home from work, so it's very easy to just stop in there. I would think it'll get me through the end of December. So again, it's kind of like incurred in October, but it's gonna last me for a couple of months. So I also, in prep for winter, I had to buy a couple of other items that are not ongoing costs. Junior needed a new winter blanket, which cost $186.40. I bought him a Weatherbeeta blanket. It's heavy duty and he'll be able to get through the winter, even the coldest days, wearing that blanket. I don't remember, like, the blanket that he had lasted a long time, but we had some pretty big rips in it that it's pretty much ready for the garbage at this point. So Junior got a new blanket. He's gonna look very snazzy this winter. I also had to buy a heater for my water trough, which cost me $72.95. I get super paranoid about water during the winter because we did run into a problem a few years ago where our automatic water actually froze on us because it was so cold, and like the frozenness went down into the pipes and completely froze the automatic water. So now, not only do we have the automatic water, but I also fill up an old school just stock water trough, and I have a float heater that I put on it. The float heater that I had last year froze, and so I had to buy a new one this year. Again, fingers crossed that that will last me at least a couple of years, and guarantee that my horses always have at least one source of water available, which is very, very important in the winter time. I cannot emphasize that enough. We do not want colic around here, so we need our horses hydrated. And I guess there's, you know, a couple other costs we could probably consider. My cats, my barn cats, they keep the mice away. If you guys haven't seen, we have a ton of barn cats. They've just multiplied ridiculously. So I'm buying cat food for them very frequently. I don't really include that in my horse costs though, like, I don't know. And another thing would be power costs. So like I said, we do have the automatic water, we have the heater for the water trough plugged in, and I also have lights in the barn. That all obviously takes power. What percentage of my power bill could I attribute to those items? I don't know, so I don't really count it. And then of course we also have things like, okay, my hay got delivered on a big flat deck trailer and we needed the Bobcat to be able to unload those. You know, there's the cost of the Bobcat, the cost of the fuel that goes in the Bobcat. Like, it's kind of like, where do you stop, right? Like, what do you count as a owning a horse cost and like maybe just a general ranch cost, I don't know, but just thought I would mention that as well because all of those things definitely add up as well. But if we are talking about just horse specific costs, I haven't totaled them up yet. Give me 1 second and I will total up how much I spent on my horses in the month of October.
A few moments later.
The total that I spent on my horses in October, $2,420.08. Ouch. Ouch. But like I said, I'm going to justify this by saying that not every month is that expensive. Like if I look at how much do I anticipate I'm going to spend on my horses in the month of November, not a lot, because I have the hay, I have their ration and mineral, that's all good to go. We're set up with blankets, the waters are all good. I don't plan on hauling anywhere. I'm trying to think what else would cost me anything. Like the farrier won't be here in November because their feet got trimmed. Like it'll probably be like the 2nd or 3rd week of December that they'll get trimmed. Like I might not have any costs in the month of November related to my horses. So it's very much like October specifically is always my most expensive month, specifically because of my hay purchase, which again is a one-time thing. Once a year I have that very large expenditure. And I think if you take away anything from this episode, it's that you need to plan. You need to be prepared because there's things like feed, and there's also like unexpected things like the vet. So that's very much something to be aware of because that is definitely the nature of what it looks like to be a horse owner. I'm good. I'm very glad I have a good paying job. That's all I can say. Because to be honest, I have a good paying job, and so having to pay $2,400 this month is okay. It's manageable. I've budgeted for it and I'm able to afford it. If you are not in a place where that would be the case, I would question whether horse ownership is correct for you at this point, as hard as that is to say. Be sure to follow me everywhere at Strong in the Saddle. And until next time, remember, it's always a good day to ride.